On live. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. This is Tabriz here from the Amateur Football YouTube channel, and with me I have Jamaal Horne from the London FA. Our kind of prayers go Christian Eriksen's family.
I can't hear you too well, Tabriz. I don't know if it's your mic or if it's me. No, you're basically muted, but you're not muted, but I can barely hear you. Just some technical difficulties. No, I still can't hear you. But in the meantime,
hold on. Oh, sorry. What about now?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, our kind of thoughts and prayers go to Christian Eriksen and his family. And you know what? It just puts everything into perspective. You know, Christian Eriksen is someone that we all have grown up knowing. This is someone who's actively playing, and even the commentator said, you know, was literally talking about him early in the first half, saying that he's, you know, he had a great run of form in the Enter team, playing about 13 out of the 19 games, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, you know, like it feels funny talking about football when is this happening. Jamaal, I mean, have you got anything to say? You know, any kind of comments?
Yeah, unfortunately, these things happen. Like I told you off air, in life we deal with a lot of things as a human race that we don't know too much about. We're still learning, and congenital heart defects, we're still learning as a human race, because, you know, we let people fly planes, we let people drive cars, we let people become professional athletes without doing, you know, full heart screening, and our technology can't always catch it. So you know, it's surprising that that has happened to a white player, because it was mostly players of African descent. You know, Mark Vivian Foe, Junior Diane, Fabrice Muamba. So, you know, this is one of these. I just hope he lives. I hope he lives, and I hope the medical professionals start to look into this, because whatever defect he has, he won't be the only one, and we just need to find out who else has it so we can treat them, or unfortunately get them to stop playing and putting so much pressure on their heart. But yeah, I mean, didn't expect this today. Today's already been a tough day, but this just really takes it, man. I just hope he lives. Just want him to live.
Yeah, 100%. So, but you know what? We will kind of get through this video. This is about the London Challenge Cup final. Jamaal and the FA. Jamaal, especially, literally put so much effort into getting this competition running. So, again, I just want to applaud you. Right now, live. You know, thank you for all of the work that you've done. The stuff that goes on behind the scenes that no one knows about. You know, I mean, it's absolutely crazy, like the work that you do. Not, you know, literally not only for like teams, but also for individuals as well. I see it. Anyway, you know, over like people see it that are kind of close to you as well. So, Jamaal, thank you so much. Thank you.
No, I want to thank everyone as well. You know, today was a bit difficult. It's kind of got touched by the court of public opinion, but these things happen, and it's just, if you're going to look at the bright side of things, just have to remember that people take their football seriously, and when things don't go their way, they voice their opinion. So you know, I do respect everyone. You know, no one, you know, completely disrespected or mocked me or London FA, but it's been a tough road. Organizing a competition in post-lockdown, post-pandemic era is much more difficult than usual. A lot of things are happening now that would never happen if it wasn't for a lockdown or a disrupted season. So this is just something that we're all going to have to get through and overcome. But I'm definitely going to overcome it, because the teams need me too. A lot of people are relying on me to finish these competitions, so we're going to keep going.
Cool. So let's kind of briefly talk over the two semi-finals in the London Challenge Cup. So let's start with AFC Brixton versus Grand Athletic. I wasn't there, so I can't really make a judgment, but I've seen the goal. I haven't seen the goal. I mean, what was like your take on the game?
Both semifinals were similar. Both sets of teams, you could tell the will to win was very high. Obviously, it's a semifinal, but there was an extra edge, and it's interesting how both games had periods where the teams were just canceling each other out. This is what happens when two teams are of a similar level, and then it was just interesting how the game kind of flowed to where there was sometimes one team on top and sometimes another team on top. But yeah, in regards to the winner for Grand Athletic, I was obviously right next to it, and literally as Razak was about to shoot, I was just like, "Bro, why you shoot?" Oh, okay, because and I think it's more of a mentality that a lot of good players had, most notably probably Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. If things aren't working with the intricacy, if you can't play in between the lines well, if you aren't able to break down the boxes, if you have a look, have a shot, and he had a calculated shot at work. It went in, and a deserved winner. It would, for that game in particular, it was going to take something special. Both teams were canceling each other out. For the Kennywell and Mile End game, I think I heard a few people speaking that both teams probably respected each other a little too much early on. Both teams prioritized not making a mistake and didn't play that sort of natural, creative, free-flowing way. But it was always going to be one of those situations where if there's a mistake, there's enough players on the pitch to capitalize on it. And Teo from Mile End did that. And just so both semifinals 1-0. We have a Mile End Baiteze squad Grand Athletic final. And if anyone is confident in picking a winner, well done to them. The Challenge Cup isn't a joke. We've had 3 London Cup finals so far. They've all finished 2-1. I couldn't imagine this one finishing any different. It'll probably go to extra time. So it may go to penalties at the actual final. But wow, a lot of good players on both sides. 2 teams that are just well drilled, and 2 teams that I don't think anyone could blame or say they don't deserve to be here. Grand started the season. I didn't know about them, and now we'll never forget them. Mile End coming with a strong reputation, but as you know, reputations don't mean everything. But they've made their reputation count. Really, really, really impressed by both sets of teams, by both teams, and really proud of both teams. Not to be patronizing, but I am proud of both teams because it's a disruptive year. We've had to deal with all kinds of things, especially in regards to fixtures. London Cup games usually take priority. Part of the agreement, I had to allow league games to take priority. Then London Sunday Cup games are only supposed to take place on a Sunday. We've had to be flexible and play them literally on every single day of the week. So, the teams have overcome a lot of adversity, and both deserve to be in the final.
Yeah, no, it's true. And again, probably kind of talking about the final, and I want to probably talk a little bit more about both teams, Grand Athletic and Mile End Baiteze, and I'll try and go into as much depth as I possibly can. So with Grand, I didn't know nothing about them. However, I did do a review video, literally just off the off chance, and the one player that stood out for me was Chase. Chase in the middle of the park. He literally kept everything ticking. He's the, I won't call him the aggressor, but he kind of starts off the kind of aggression chain and
energy.
He's
basically a white Conte, basically. Him and Trey and one other player. I don't want to get his name wrong, but it's just the energy. That's why Grand deserves the most credit for 3 things. 1, Kumazi. Lead, regaining things, making things level again, and winning on penalties. Then Essie Dons. matching their technical ability, losing the lead, regaining the lead, and beating a favorite. And then for Brixton got to the semis on energy and agility and good technical ability in the right areas at the right times. And Grand have had to overcome Kumasi, SC Dons, and AFC Brixton. Like, seriously, I don't even understand how anyone could think I don't respect them. And I've been at all those games. I mean, seriously, it just isn't a joke. But yeah, it comes from players like Chase, players like Trey, players with that energy. And 1-0 down, don't care. lost the lead. Energy gonna close, gonna press, gonna shut. So yeah, I must say, really impressed about that.
Yeah, definitely. And with Mylan Baiteze, I literally saw them play for the first time. I have also done a review video about them as well, and it was funny because we had Jamie on at the beginning of the tournament, and I know that him and Justin Jamie was so adamant about them entering the London competition, and Jason and Justin was like, oh, I'm not too sure, but Jamie was like, look, like let's kind of go in, let's kind of see, look now, like we're in the final, and I think watching certain things on YouTube, and again, hey, like it's great that teams put out stuff on YouTube because again, it kind of gives people like myself and people that don't get to watch teams live the opportunity to actually watch them. But watching them in real life, I'm telling you, like they have energy, they have heart, they have desire. Like their work rate, I think there's like one person. So there's Teo that about number 7 and Charlie. Charlie, he's I don't know what breakfast. I don't know what he's eating, but that guy just runs and he like is the catalyst to literally a lot of Mylan Baiteze play. And again, like every single player is honest. Every single player is prepared to run. Every single player is prepared to tackle. Sometimes it may not be the prettiest, but listen, like you have to be on your game. You have to be on your game to beat Mylan Baiteze, and like what, you've like been to a few of the games when I think they were 4-2 down, I believe.
Oh, listen. So as I just gave that overview about Grand Athletic, Mylan is just like Myland is just the game against Continental where they're 2 goals down, then get a player sent off, Olu got sent off, and then to score 2 goals with 11 players and then score 4 goals with 10 players, score 6 goals in one game. For Grand, when you see Cadell hit a shot like that, you see Razak hit a shot like that, you have to think it's your year. For Mylan, for them to come back and win that game 6-5 after being 4-2 down with a player sent off, when those kind of things are happening, you have to start thinking, well, maybe this is their year. And I see Jamie put there the Charlie is the Sunday League Jamie Vardy, because Jamie Vardy looks quick. Charlie constantly, the defenders constantly underestimate him because he doesn't look quick, and he always gets to that 50-50 first. He always gets to that second ball first. So, but yeah, no, both these teams, no one can really say that they didn't deserve to get there. Maybe AFC Hammersmith Town could say that because that Mylan game was very scrappy, very close, and it was kind of a fortuitous goal that led to the winner. But
actually, let me interrupt you there. It wasn't fortuitous. It was again closing down. A lot of strikers or actually a lot of players wouldn't have gambled. So I won't call it fortuitous. It was purely again the work rate. It's the passion, and again to actually get that goal. Hey, you know what? Like Hammersmith or whoever it is, you know what? Like they can still have an opportunity to actually win the game, but they didn't. So, and again, it literally comes like down to how much you want it, how much are you like prepared to work, Again, and as you said before, there were a man down in the previous round, and they scored 3 goals. So it wasn't fortuitous, it was deserving.
I'll meet you in the middle and say it was fortuitous, but fortune favors the brave, or when you work harder, you seem to be more lucky, because definitely hard work and pressing, but the deflection could have went anywhere. But irrespective, it's all conjecture. They got to the final. Going to AFC Hammersmith Town, isn't easy. It really isn't easy. The Radar went there, played well, but unfortunately didn't get the win, and Marland, got the win. So that's that.
Yeah. And a player as well from Grand that I'd like to highlight. And again, I don't know his name, but I believe he's the person that scored the like worldie against Brixton. I know that I think he's number 98. I think
Razak.
And what I kind of like about him, because I like saw them play against Kamazi, and Coach Ahmed played him in the center of midfield. And again, like he just, is a very strong, very athletic, and he knows how to play the game the right way. Against SC Dons, and this is actually where tactics come in now. Coach Ahmed played him left back against Ryan Palmer, and he matched him. And to be honest, Ryan Palmer didn't really have a sniff. Didn't have a sniff at all. So that kind of shows me that that coach and and the team know how to jig a few things around, and again they study their opponents. Again with Justin, Justin has an incredible CV. He's well known in football period, and you can tell with Justin and Jamie, they are Justin and Jamie are workhorses. They are honest, and that is a reflection on their team as well, with a sprinkle of gold dust.
Yeah, I mean, for Grand Athletic, it's real simple. With the SC Dons game, I don't think SC Dons thought that Grand would be able to match the technical ability and the energy. I think they felt Grand can only meet one or the other at a specific time. They wouldn't be able to put both together for such a long period of the game. So you kind of, sometimes when you're playing, you're waiting for the team to dip a little bit just so you can come up with your normal standard, create a few chances, score some goals, and win. But Grand just never really dipped. They dipped for a little bit, and they just didn't dip. They maintained that high level against SC Dons. So bang. Justin and Jamie, I said at our first review of the Sunday Challenge Cup early, I think from 2020, I said any team managed by Justin has a chance. And when I just give you that detailed analysis about Grant, I'll give you some detailed analysis about Justin and Jamie. I'm at the Continental game. The 2 goes down. Olu just got sent off. And when a lot of managers are crying and this and that, Justin kind of came on the pitch, cried for a little bit, came back off, and then instantly him and Jamie are getting together. And I see Justin standing up with the focused face on the pitch, and I see Jamie talking in his ear, doing hand signals that coaches do. It's instantly, I'm going to cry, going to moan at the referee. Okay, that's done. Back to business. How are we going to win this game in the most difficult circumstances? And that's exactly what it is. It's clear leadership. It's clear egos channeled towards the right way. It's the same thing with Grand. All that testosterone, all that egos, you don't see a lot of that. And when you do, it's channeled towards the right thing, which is playing and which is winning and which is for the teamwork. And not saying any team has been knocked out didn't lack anything. No, there's plenty of good focus from AFC Hammersmith Town and Under the Radar. It's just that Grand seemed to have something special, and people like Justin are just really good at getting that extra 1% from his players. Because if you are level with your opponents and you're canceling each other out, that extra 1% can make all the difference.
And let's quickly talk about the final. It's going to be Wednesday at Meridian. Kickoff is at 7:30, okay. So without me going into a bit of a rant, please watch the video that I filmed. But forget about the game. I'm not saying, not forget about the game, but if you kind of want to watch the game, great. But I would probably say watch the last 10 minutes of the video, and you will see. And again, I'm going to say the whole conversation probably lasted about 50 minutes. But of course, I edited it down. So that was a game in itself. But again, both managers and Jamaal, again, it was a it was a conversation. It was a great conversation. There was like there was no egos. There was everyone tried to.
No, there was ego from Justin, but only Justin.
Okay. Well, yeah.
There was
Okay.
ego from Justin for
There
sure.
was yeah.
But Javan and Jordan from Grand, I think, carried themselves very well in a conversation that kind of got a little frustrating, But yeah, I'll speak on what Jamie's just said there in a second. But yeah, people only thing that I'm disappointed in regards to all the comments on social media about ticket prices, which haven't even been released yet officially by myself or London FA, and the choice of ground. The only reason why I'm disappointed in some people's reaction to that is because of the times. If there was no COVID, if there was no lockdown, I would understand. But if there was no COVID and no lockdown, it wouldn't happen. I got all kinds of stick last season for Haringey Borough, mostly because we had too many finals there. But the reason why I got away with it in a way was because of COVID. If I had the full choice of grounds that I always have, then we would have been able to, spread things around, because you shouldn't be having no county FA should be having more than one cup final at one ground, unless the county FA has their own ground. And I even got a phone call from Meridian. They were upset about the comments on social media because people are being very disrespectful to a community club run by regular people who are just trying to create a sports and social club and create a football hub in their community. And I understand some important high-profile people in grassroots, in the elite level grassroots, which is what the Sunday Challenge, Mile End, and Grand Athletic, that's what they are, elite grassroots. And yeah, cool, you can say Meridian isn't an elite grassroots ground or isn't worthy of hosting a final like that. Those opinions are harsh, but they're just an opinion. If worded in the right way, it's fair enough. It's post-lockdown. This is post. I told people what my first choices were. I planned for this final to be at Dulwich Hamlet. They're reseeding, they're resurfacing the ground. Bromley are knocking down their change rooms, getting ready for the new season.
Fisher as well, right?
Fisher has to redo their pitch. Crave Valley are doing ground maintenance on their drainage. I was disappointed in these people who have wealth of knowledge in football, who understand that June is always used for ground maintenance. Maybe some of them are a little younger than I expected, and without being patronizing, and haven't realized that, oh yeah, that is why there's no football in June. That's why some step 2, step 3 teams who start trials in January do it in a park, because their pitch isn't ready yet, And I just think people forgot about that. They forgot about that. And then with the final being, one person even said, oh, Mickey Mouse planning. How can the final be arranged 6 days before the final? This is post-pandemic football. This is post-pandemic. Marlin weren't sure when they could play. Grand were only sure when they played, but their semifinal was a week before. I had to be so flexible, and I feel no way about it. I'm just disappointed that people didn't give me the benefit of the doubt. And you cannot rip London FA Cups without ripping me. Cool, I know some people try to be critical about the London Football Association, but when it comes to the cup competitions, I run them. So if you're having to go about the FA Cups, you're having to go at me. You may not mean it that way, but that's what it is. So that's where we are. The final will be at Meridian. It is a decent venue. The change rooms are brand new. The pitch is flat. There'll be a lot of green on it. Of course, the surface underneath the green is a little bit bubbly. There'll be some patches. Okay, there is a stand with over 150 seats. It's a big open ground with plenty of a standing area. Is it Wembley? Is it the Emirates? No, but most places aren't. But it's post-pandemic football. They have agreed to host us, and I know some people were just trying to share their opinion, but myself and Meridian and others involved felt really disrespected by it. But it is what it is. I don't feel too much of a weight by what anyone said. I know, people are saying, getting to a cup final, playing at a nice ground is supposed to be a reward. It's a little bit of a downer for the final to be played there. It's not about agreeing. It's about understanding, and I understand those comments. But both semifinals were played there. I didn't get a lot of complaints, so that's where we are.
No, and I want to echo that as well. Again, if people really want to know what Jamaal does, please go shadow him for just half a day. Just like half a day. And then go on social media and then say say what you have to say. How I see it, the like cup final could be even played on a park field, and you know what? As long as those two teams battle it out, someone's going to be a winner. Yes, everyone's kind of got their opinions, and hey, you know what? If it's kind of not about the ground, it's about the prize. If it's not about the prize, it could be about the food. If it's not about the food, it's about the journey. If it's not about the journey, it's about someone that looked at them funny on the way there. It's going to be about something. It's going to be about something. And you know what? Look, you know, because I know Brixton FC have just put the eyes in. You know what I mean? But you know,
I don't know why.
I know, but
I don't know why.
But like, you know, I want to kind of give, because actually again, Lucky is a character. But what Lucky said in the video is like, look, you know what? Make it moving, because you know what? It's you let you halfway for like both teams, and you know what? We all want to celebrate this. We don't want to make it too like far for grand. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to make it too like far for Mile and Baiteze. We all want to come and celebrate this. This is a final. Yeah, you know, again, you know, post-pandemic, that's happening. You know, a lot of teams and a lot of leagues have been again null and void. There's only, you know, again, yourself, Graham, Michelle at Croydon. Like, there's just so many people that have literally tried their damn hardest to get games going. So again, I applaud you. I applaud the London FA. I applaud Croydon, the Southern Sunday, but like Barnet League as well. Any league, any like committee, anyone that's managed to get games on week by week, every Sunday, Saturday, and cup finals, we should be applauding them rather than saying this and saying that. Because you know what? I kind of find it kind of silly, really. And again, like, you know, I'm trying to pull it as mild as possible. Because again,
I can't believe I'm going to say what I'm about to say now. I can't believe I'm going to say what I'm about to say now, which is on Wednesday night, Lucky was almost like a peacemaker.
He was a peacemaker. Lucky was
ambassador. He's bringing up some really good points. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Lucky was the you know, Lucky was kind of almost like the voice of reason. You know, because again, we've all jokes aside, everyone wants to see this game. Everyone wants football to be back to normal. You know, again, people out there, like, do you want all of, you know, would you want Jamaal and whoever else to say, okay, you know, we're in lockdown again and da-da-da, like, I'm just going to put up my feet and just not do nothing until everything's cool? Because again, in the pandemic, people were so, you know, there was a rally cry for Sunday League football, about coming out and playing football, about mental health, about going out and you know, putting like back on your boots. You know, there was a positive vibe. Now football's here, and you know, now certain like things are happening. Twitter is back to being Twitter, and Instagram, whatever social media platform.
Well, listen, I'll say two things. One, we have to scroll up to what Jack Osborne said and remind that, you know, I think he said he came from Birmingham County, and some people they don't even have county cup competitions. And you know, I just feel like there are my counterparts in other counties are at home this morning chilling, getting paid the same amount that I am without having to work, and any stick for canceling the competition, for quitting on their team. And I was never going to quit on them teams. And any issues about ticket prices or venue, I would much rather have that difficult conversation than having the more difficult conversation of having to call every single team and say, oh, this is why we canceled it. You know, no way, you know. And yeah, Brixton, I'm not sure who's running that account, Kaz or Lucky, whoever, you know, why are you seeking validation from haters? I get that point, but it's not haters. Some of these people were well-wishers, people who have given me credit in the past, people who I know personally, and I understand that they are voicing their opinion. I don't want to affect, you know, freedom of speech or anything like that. But some people called me directly. Some people got in touch with me directly. You know, some very well-known people in the game, and said, "Well, I'm hearing this. I shared some of the opinion that's on Twitter right now." Well, there's got to be two sides to the story. Jamaal, can you tell me your side? You know, and one person in particular, I'm really, really upset at, really, really disappointed. And I'll see that person on Wednesday. I'm very, very, very disappointed because, you know, I said something on social media that person was unhappy with. That person respectfully and professionally confronted me about it. I then apologized to him, his club, and all of his club, and several of his club mates. And now he's then said something on social media that I just don't respect, that I'm really disappointed in, and I don't get an apology back. So I'm disappointed in that. But even then, even though that's really upset me, that still only comes from a place of love for the game, and the worst thing about London Cups and cup competitions like this, where each season 64 teams will join and literally 15 teams are capable of winning it. So you just never know when you're going to get back. Last season killed me when Sporting Continental, and we had to play 4 of our 12 at finals behind closed doors. Sporting Continental got to the final and won and had to play behind closed doors. Went to another competition, lost in the semifinal. So when people are being upset, people from Grand, people from Ireland are being upset, I get it, because even though these teams are really good, they're not the only teams that are good, and there's no guarantee that they'll get to the final next year. And it's like, they got to the finals. Oh yeah, but it was at Meridian. Sporting Continental and Muswell Hill and other clubs last season, like, oh yeah, we got to the London Cup final, but there were no spectators. But guess what? As bad as that is, and it is bad, at least the competition was on. That's the main point.
That's the main point. So anyway, let's kind of get back onto this year's Challenge Cup final. Milan Baiteze versus Grand. Where do you think it's going to be won and lost?
Wow, that's a good point. Either we're going to look at, I just, because I've seen both teams so many times this season, I don't care who wins. It's just, I just don't want anyone to lose cheaply. And I just feel as if it's going to come down to individual areas, it's going to come down to potential individual errors. I think someone is going to lose on some individual mistakes. Yeah, you can say, oh, yeah, well, that's football, innit? Like, no, not really. Sometimes both teams play well, and it took an act of individual brilliance. I was speaking to some people from AFC Brixton. We were speaking about the game, and I know the defender kind of miskicked the clearance. It went to Razak, took a couple of touches out his feet, then it flew in the top corner. But if you look at that clearance was on the ground, but it went pretty close to the center circle. That's far enough to give you to provide a little bit of safety. I wouldn't consider that an individual error per se. So that was a moment of brilliance from Razak that won them that. But for the final, I just think that's what it's going to come down to. I think there's so many good players on the pitch in an attacking sense who are good enough to capitalize on an individual error. I think that's what it's going to come down to. What I would like, as host of the game, is if that does happen, you kind of want an early goal, because as Jamie just mentioned, it's Jamie, and I think Vinny is assistant manager for Grand, and then there's Justin and Ahmed. How are these two gonna out tactic each other? If there's an early goal, it gives that time for some adjustments. So that would be really interesting. But for the most part, I think it's going to come down to individual errors.
Yeah. And one more thing before I go. I think for Grand, you have to work as hard as Milan Baiteze to get anything from the game. And when I say work, you have to come off that pitch drenched, because if you don't, they will expose you. And for Milan Baiteze, again, if you give Grand any opportunities, any sniffs at goal, I believe you will be punished. And when you're in front of goal, you have to finish your dinner. Simple as that. Jamaal, thank you for jumping on. Again, prayers to the Eriksson family. I've not heard anything. And again, it just puts football into perspective. Things that people say on Twitter, our kind of emotions and things like that. You know what? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter when things like this happen. Again, it just puts everything into perspective. It just resets the right button. Guys, let's just thank our blessings that we are here. and we can enjoy football. We can, enjoy the beautiful weather. We can, enjoy our family and friends, and let's enjoy the final Meridian 7:30 next week, Wednesday. Thank you for watching, Jamaal. Thank you for coming on. We will see you guys real soon. Have a wonderful day.